Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Monday night here at Proficiency Bonus. My name is Matthew, your, I don't know what the hell I am today, Dungeon Master for this evening's session.
Awesome and foreboding.
Before we jump over to our players, I want to give a couple of quick shout-outs. Big thanks to our friends up north, Little Dragon Corp. You can put ! Little Dragon in the chat. Give you a link to their website. Don't forget to use the discount code PROBONUS. You get 10% off your order, and they'll ship anywhere in the country. We love them, and I just realized that I have completely forgotten to take my dice out for this evening. So yes, as I said, I have no idea what I'm doing tonight.
They ship everywhere in the world, Matthew, not the country, the world.
But the world is my country.
The world is your oyster, Matthew.
We are going to jump on over to our players as we mention Cardboard Castle Games. As you can see, we are down a couple of players, which unfortunately has caused my transition to break. But I will fix that on our break. No, that's just, more minor technical difficulties as we get everything set up. But again, we have Cardboard Castle Games. They are in Evans, Georgia. You can put in !CCG, get a link to their site. And we love them. They're my buddy Michael's local game store. Gave us all those great Pokemon and Magic cards for our giveaway we did just a little while ago. So with that being said, I'm going to real quick clip some Snow Moon. There we go. Because he was just a little out of frame there.
Do we put the one in the Little Dragon chat code? Is it Little Dragon 1?
No, it's just ! Little Dragon.
I gotcha. Alrighty.
And then, yes, we love them. We show for them. We show them off. Ooh. Definitely check them out. But we're going to jump right into the last time. As you can see, we are down 2 members. Art and Sarah will not be joining us this evening. So they're going to be on Roleplay Light. So you will notice a couple of things, especially with our current location, are probably going to be a little lighter than 'tis normal, given that, it was dealing with a lot of arts stuff right now. But our party is in Waterdeep. Our friendly little old grandma proceeded to, let's just say, after being very thoroughly warned by Murdoch about the laws in this city, basically sort of spat on them and has ended up getting into quite a bit of legal trouble. Eventually there was some changes made, and I apologize as I'm doing this. I am still fixing up a couple last moment things on our overlay. Murdoch was able to do some work with the help of Snow Moon and claiming to be Sarah's aides to start sort of talking the captain down. In the meanwhile, though, Sarah had been approached by some dubious individuals representing the Xanathar Guild. Unbeknownst to Murdoch and Snow Moon, she decided to sign up with them to get herself out of trouble, where they were working with the captain. Eventually it all, I suppose we'll say, worked out. Somebody is taking the fall as an attempted murderer going after Sarah. Sarah has gotten out of it with a minimal fee and a couple of edicts. And the party basically went off, found a new inn. Some people paid for 2 rooms and stayed at different locations. It was just a mess. But they woke up the next morning. Art had gotten some information and was advised that if they went to the City of the Dead and found Myrna, that they would be able to aid in getting their transport to Everland on their way to Silvery Moon. As they were looking through the City of Dead trying to find Myrna, our favorite Furbolg cleric got a little confused, and instead of looking for a blue-robed individual, found a blue person, happened to be an Air Genasi, who, unbeknownst to the party, was mourning his departed. Our cleric walked up, very sort of abruptly whispered a strange name at them. He got a strange look on his face. So the cleric, in doing her clerically duty, flung gold at him, told him to buy flowers, and ran away. Eventually,
It's still so funny.
hiding behind a crypt and using disguise self to, I believe you said you now look like an older elven woman, right?
Yes.
And proceeded to then ask the party if she should go back over and have a conversation with this person.
Don't know why this.
About that point, though, the party eventually found a crypt with the name Myrna on it. They tried opening it, it seemed to be unlocked. They walked in. They saw a rather large sarcophagus in the middle of the room, and they heard the door slam shut. And that is where we find ourselves this evening. Currently, the group is in the dark. Even with it being midday, this is a mausoleum in the City of the Dead. There is a very small stained glass window that appears up on the back wall, which allows a very little bit of this sort of like orange, yellow, amber light is the ambient light from outside is hitting it to sort of cascade at different points in the room. Those of you with dark vision aren't really having any problem seeing. Those of you without, you're getting more like you can tell there's a large basically box in the middle of the room, and you're getting little bits here and there of each other. You don't really have any real good clear vision now.
Well, I don't like it when crypts close on you. I just want to say that out front.
Are we
Try
going
to open the door and just to make sure that we have a
box?
way out.
As you turn and try to open the door, you start pulling it, and it is coming. It's like opening back towards you, but it is a little more work. Like when you guys walked in, you barely tapped it, and it just swung open. Whatever you're trying to do now, it's like you're trying to pull a push door. You're getting it to come, but it's not going easy.
Okay.
I think there's got to be a
This
trick or
is
something.
an option.
Stop. Just let's move forward, not backwards.
Just making sure we don't, run out of air in here or die horribly of suffocation.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Is there
You
anyone
say that I say precaution.
Is there anyone that can't see in the dark?
Sarah
Oh.
can't. Lydia
I can't see.
Oh, right. Forgot that our kin actually don't. I can see.
Let me
Don't-
check
Oh,
and see if
yes,
Art
I
has
can't.
the light cantrip.
I do.
Oh,
I'll cast light.
And I have my gem of brightness if we need that as well.
I think that would blind us in this small space, but you're right, it would help other
If
people.
if we
Yeah, so as Lydia, as you cast light, it's easy enough now. Now you can see very easily there is a very large sarcophagus in the middle of the room. And like dead center on the top of the sarcophagus, you can see that there is that emblem of the Harpers on it.
Right. Furia, you were suggesting that we pop this thing open.
I don't see another option. Why would they direct us to here if there's no other way?
It's a trap.
At the mention of it's a trap, Murdoch does kind of move more back towards the stairs.
does it
I
seem
don't
like
know
it's
what-
magical?
Be a pretty
at all?
long game trap.
But
You know.
what could it... I don't know anything about these Harpers. I just don't trust them right away.
Why would they
I mean-
tell one of our party members that they are invited? Give them a pin, information. It seems a little long-winded.
Do we know that Sarah joined the Xanathars Guild?
No,
Okay.
I think
Well,
Murdoch knows because they had
Murdoch
that
knows.
conversation when they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would Murdoch have told anyone?
I think when everyone was there, Murdoch did say, like, you've become indebted to a group of
Oh yeah, with one
thieves,
you did say-
thieves, liars, and murderers, just not the really bad ones in her
Yeah.
personal
Yeah, because you wouldn't take the money, and that was in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were there. You
Yeah.
were there for
Okay.
talking about that. Snowmoon asked a good question of if this sarcophagus seems magical at all, or is it just like just
You can certainly make an Arcana check if you'd like to, Snowmoon.
Sure. This isn't my forte, but I'll give it a try.
you can do anything.
That is
Bardically
a.
inspire you.
Okay. And what do I add with the bardic inspiration? I don't remember.
My bardic inspirations are a D8 as she whispers, you can do anything.
That's an 8 with the inspiration.
I'm sorry. Your total is an 8 with.
Yes, I roll a 7 and a 1 for a total of
Well,
8.
you get to keep my bardic inspiration because it's unfailing inspiration.
Yeah. So you
Yes.
remember you have that D8 for some. As you look at it, and as you're having this thought, is it magic? And then you're like.
Okay.
Just
I mean, like I said, I can't tell if this is magic or not. Does anyone else know?
I mean, I'm sure I could rummage up something to figure that out, but I mean, I'd have to take a day to do that.
let me see here. I'll just grab
It's not really my forte either.
Fine, I'll cast Detect Magic.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the character sheets for the others to see what they have.
Yeah, but I don't want them to use their stuff if they don't need to, so... I'll
So
just
as you're doing it,
do it.
the sarcophagus itself is not magic, but you
Okay.
do notice that the Harper's emblem on the top of it.
Mhm.
As you're looking at it, the image, what you took to be like, I guess I'll call it a relief, like just sort of carved into the stone. It is actually radiating a slight magic. And the school of magic it is radiating is. Check the school here. It is radiating abjuration.
Don't touch the harp. It's radiating abjuration magic. Might be bad
that?
or some sort of magic that abjurates.
What's abjuration?
It's a school of magic. I feel like we're going in circles here.
Well, I don't know anything about your types of magics. I know plants.
To
I only know-
abjure, as in an etymological sense, would probably mean to guard or to ward away. So like warding magic.
Art will
Oh,
mention
like what
it's,
you did at front of our house.
Yes, quite.
Yeah.
Yep, typically, it creates some sort of barrier, a wall, something of that nature.
Don't touch that part.
Etymologically speaking, abjure is to solemnly renounce,
Oh, yes, we're. Oh, don't.
but that's still kind of like no. So
As you all say that, Art is going to walk up and just touch it. And as Art
And
touches
if
it,
they hadn't, I would have.
as
Okay.
they put their hand on it, you watch as that's basically the stone lid of the sarcophagus
Mhm.
just sort of shimmers a little bit and then vanishes.
oh,
And you can see a stairwell now leading down.
love that.
That's fancy.
Not dead yet.
Are you sure? Have you checked
Don't-
recently?
Don't listen. I have a particular. If we're not dead than we're alive because I refuse to be undead. No. No, I don't. My magic doesn't agree with them at all. We're not
I
dealing with
just
undead.
thought it'd be helpful to, do a once over check every once in a while. Make sure.
I mean, sure, pulse, all good, breathing, though it's a bit dusty.
Well, I guess we're going to go down
I guess we're
the
going
stairs.
to go down.
I'll go
Yes,
down
we
first.
came all this way.
Or behind Art or whatever.
Yep, I'll head down.
Yeah, I'll head down too.
You can go ahead of me, Snow, and I'll follow behind.
Oh, sure.
So as
Armor.
Art continues heading down and leading the group of you down. Again, the staircase comes down, and eventually, once you get to the bottom of the staircase, you see it actually opens up into an almost claustrophobically small feeling circular room. As you're walking down, Lydia, with you having cast a light cantrip and bringing that down right behind Art, immediately the group of you recognize this circle filling the majority of the room, filled with these different arcane runes. Some of you have run into teleportation circles before. Some of you have seen bits and pieces from strange people's houses. The Countess, back in the day. And as the group of you approach, a very young woman steps forward. Hello. Yes, I'm Thestral out. How can I be of assistance? And
We're looking for transportation to Silvery Moon, or near as we can get.
yes, you are the ones I was told to be expecting that would recently joined. And looks down at Art. Closest we can get you to Silvery Moon would be Moongleam Tower, which is in Everland. It's only a day or two's journey, depending on how fast you want to push it south, but if there's nothing else you need, please feel free step into the center of the circle, and I shall begin the incantations.
Everybody ready?
Who should we ask for on the other side?
Oh, there is my namesake. I suppose the person who watches the circle there, I'm never quite sure who's manning it at any one point, as they
Okay.
tend to take shifts. The tower itself, though, is the home of one Crowan Valharo. I will give a
Alright.
warning, please do not mess with his animals. He is rather peculiar about it.
Mm-hmm.
He has animals. Interesting.
Yes, they're known as tressums. Have you seen one before?
No? What are those?
Winged cats.
You'll love them.
Oh, I wonder if I could turn into one.
And will we won't have any issue when we arrive. They're expecting people to come through. They're not going to think that we're trespassing or anything of that nature.
Oh, no, the only way you could get there is through a circle such as ours, as they are part of our network. Or had you been there before and have your own personal knowledge of their circle?
Alright.
It will take me about 10 minutes to prepare, and she looks over on. Oh, I'm not sure if you have the ability to cast this incantation yourself, but you may want to take a few moments and remember the glyphs around the circle if you need to return here. So Art will take about, as this woman is going about and taking the 10 minutes to get the incantation set up, Art's taking a little bit of time, and taking a sketch down of the transportation circle, so you guys will have record of it if you need to.
Have any of you teleported before?
Does it hurt?
No, but I would just say try to keep your breakfast.
Honestly, I'm not sure what I would throw up. I didn't really eat much other than a berry.
That's true. That's true. Maybe it won't be that bad.
About that time, she's getting everything finished up, and the group of you are sort of being herded into the middle of this as she's circling around the room. And as she finishes casting her incantations, you're watching as the hands move, and you can see at different points on this circle, different runes start to light up and glow. And as they start to connect, and one lights up, then across, and on one side, and over in another corner, eventually the entire circle starts to radiate this light. And you watch as you seems to almost circle, almost as in a whirlpool. At first, as the energy starts to circle around, and then you feel the floor drop out from under you. And for a couple of seconds, you feel weightless, like there's nothing there, and all of a sudden it's as your feet hit ground again, and you almost stumble as that first sort of like literally hopping off a small curb. Just that little bounce as you sort of open your eyes, and you are standing in a what looks to be a somewhat dark wooden circular room. There's a desk sitting as you're all sort of opening your eyes and getting your bearings again. It's a set of large dark wood double doors in front of you. A small desk sitting to the right of it with an individual who looks like he had been doing something, but upon the group of you appearing, sits up. Oh, yes, well, yes, welcome. Yes, welcome to Everland. Is this your first time coming through our entranceway?
Ooh, wow. Just kind of like falling out of a tree unexpectedly. Neat.
I'm going to take that as a yes. Well, welcome to Everland. You are in the home of Master Crowan Valharo. If I may ask, how did you come to arrive at our location? This is your first time. Somebody must have sent you with knowledge of our portal.
Yes, we came via Waterdeep.
That's yes. So then, what? And sort of looking at the group of you a little bit, and eventually catching Art and the Harper's. And now it makes sense. Well, is there any assistance you need? Do you have business here in Everland, or?
Passing through, I believe. I sort of look to the rest of the group. We're on our way to somewhere else.
Yes.
Art will volunteer that you guys are heading to Silvery Moon, and the individual gives gives Art a little bit. Here's the best way to head up, start heading north. Does also mention we are one of the most active mercantile communities in the northern area. So, if you have need of anything, goods, food, things like that, may or may not wish to stop in the marketplace. We don't have quite the arcane market that Silvery Moon is known for, but at the same point they are also much more heavily regulated with those types of things, so...
Black market.
No.
Oh.
Just not in... We do not have quite the trade of magical artifacts here.
Just a market, Lydia. Just a nice, legal market where you can legally purchase goods.
Sailor's life stays with me.
As the gentleman gets up and walks over to the door and opens the doors for you. There you go. Just follow the stairs down. Do be mindful of the animals and gives a little bow to you.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna walk.
Me too.
Murdoch kind of gets like a little
Yeah.
like, okay, let's see. I've never been to Everland, so I'm excited actually.
Okay, so we will go ahead and hop over as you guys start heading down the stairs. And as you go down from that entryway, the first sort of landing you come to, there is a very ornate dark oak door. It is currently closed, and laying on the ground in front of it is a sort of white and honey-colored cat. As it's laying there and sees a group of you, it gives one of the, big stretch of front paws out, starts to arch its back. And all you watch is from the back shoulders, 2 wings come out. And very, again, sort of do the same, like, wide stretch out. And a very sort of haphazard, just single, like, flap. And it just sort of puts down and then starts cleaning itself.
It is quite cute.
It's adorable.
Was that snowman?
I look at. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
I've never seen a cat with wings before.
I look at the cat and. Good morning.
Me too, because I can talk to animals too. Keep forgetting that.
Gives
I'm
it
just
a
saying that in common.
crop to the head, and
As I walk past, I'll just good morning.
then goes back to, looking at the paw and then cleaning itself.
It's kind of rude to speak about other people, while they're there. Animals can understand you more than you think.
Ah, you're right. I should probably think more about that.
Maybe it was thinking, well, I've never seen a big dragonborn before. You don't know.
You're right.
Alright, let's see if we can get our bearings.
So as you start heading out of heading the rest of the way down, and once you get to the bottom of this tower, the first thing you notice is it almost looks to be in like a small park. As you start walking out the front entranceway, there are actually two individuals standing there with what looks to be spears, but they're just sort of standing there almost haphazardly on either side of the door as you guys are walking out. They barely acknowledge you, just give a very slight nod as you walk out, and you can see there are trees in front of you. And almost immediately coming out, you can see straight down this road, slightly off to your right, seems to lead right down into a massive open market. It's a good, probably 100, 120 feet away from you. Art mentions that the individual told them to basically take the first left, and then the second left, and that'll get you heading north out of the city. So mechanically speaking, for you players who are in roll 20, you are actually right outside this tower here.
Oh, okay. It's
And
kind of nice. This is a cute place.
right at this large open area, you can see down this straight street is the market. And if you're heading to Silvery Moon and heading straight out, that's again right up the north exit.
Are we just heading straight through? We have some daylight still. Just no carriage.
Is there anything anyone needs while we're here?
I mean, I don't have any shopping to do.
We have berries to eat. We can just go there on foot. No?
Um, unless you want to. I'm not sure exactly how long it would take. A day or two? Is everybody okay camping out tonight? Or would you rather spend another night in an inn? I know it's still early in the day, but
Be fine with camping if that's all right with everyone else.
I'm alright with it, though I don't have camping things. So maybe that is something that I should pick up. I don't have a tent or a bedroll.
just sleep in a tree. You don't need to sleep under a tent.
Inferior, darling, this suit is not made to sleep in a tree. And neither are these bones.
It's not uncomfortable. It's more comfy than the ground. You don't have all the roots digging into you.
I roll around in my sleep a bit, and that could result in a rude awakening.
I suppose.
Well, we're here, so let's look in the market, see what we can find.
Get some camping things, I suppose.
Sure.
I wish there was a spell that I was really hoping for. Still working on that would solve this issue, but not yet. Oh, it would be such a good spell.
Easy enough to head down into the market and to pick up what you're looking for. And you're just looking like and pick up a bedroll, or what exactly is Murdoch looking for?
Murdoch would like a nice tent and yeah, I guess I have to. I don't sleep on the ground, but apparently I'm going to. So I'm going to get a really nice tent and a bedroll.
Oh.
You could get one of those cot things that you can set up.
Oh, wait, that's nice. A hammock.
Or
tent,
a hammock.
a tent. And
Murdoch, you do realize hammocks only work if there are trees.
If there's no there are. Well, everyone's just saying things at me. I don't know. I don't rough it.
Let's get you a cot, a bedroll, and a nice tent to start with. And then if you don't like it, we'll come back and get you some other stuff.
Right. I suppose maybe I have an outfit that I wouldn't mind getting a little bit dirty. It's fine.
Lydia, it's a good thing she wasn't with us when we were inside that turtle. We would never hear
No,
the end of it.
that was pretty bad.
Tentsman, your finest tent. Cotsman, your finest cot.
So you find, and again, you've got a large open marketplace here, so it takes you guys probably the better part of a half an hour or so, but you end up with a large two-person tent, a cot, a bedroll, and you actually do find someone who is selling hammocks, and the entire thing, if you wanted to buy everything, it would be a total of 5 gold.
I want to try to lose myself in the crowd a little behind everyone. If I could. Sorry about that, Murdoch.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth check.
At disadvantage? Cause... Oh,
Wait,
that's
are you
okay.
not still disguised?
Oh, I am disguised.
Yeah, you're still disguised.
Yeah, but I have armor on.
So then it would be a straight roll.
Yeah, it's 15.
Okay, what's everyone's passive? Anyone over 15?
I have a 16.
Nope.
So, Furion,
Hello.
you notice that Lydia's sort of starting to trail and wander a little bit.
I'm gonna keep a side eye on Lydia just to make sure she doesn't get into trouble she can't get herself out of, but I'm gonna let her do whatever she's up to.
So what you up to, Lydia?
Without hurting Granny's feelings, I just want to get some side rations just in case Viria doesn't feel like making the good berries every morning. I want to get some extra jerky and rations and stuff like that just so I can nibble on stuff through the day.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. You can find it general purpose merchant. It's basically 5 silver per day.
Okay, I'll just grab like 10 days worth of stuff just to munch
Okay, so
on.
5 gold pieces and
Yep, okay.
taken care of.
Okay, that's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The tent in its uncollapsed form, is that big enough to go in my bag of holding?
Yeah.
Or in its, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know what you
Cool.
mean.
Uncollapsed form, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's all she mechanically needs, I think. I mean, it's only a day or so,
Yeah, it's realistically, if you guys, it's still fairly early in the morning, so if you guys push through it and don't wander or anything like that, you should be on the, you might be on the road for one night.
Oh.
You'd be skating in close to the end of the evening on the second night, or on the second day.
For fun. Ooh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for fun, since I've never been here. Also, that I'm curious. What is in the map? This like large walled-in structure that's right by the
That's
market.
right next to the market.
Yeah. What is that place?
The Hall of the as you're sort of poking around, and you find out it is called the Hall of the Elders.
Hall of the Elders. If I'm just talking with possibly this wonderful tentsman who just sold me this wonderful tent, is that the governing body? Or what is the Hall of the Elders? I've never been in before.
Yeah, so he advised you the Hall of the Elders is where the council meets to discuss issues affecting the city. He advised you that the Council of Elders is made up of 5 leaders of the city. Said there's a bit of debate going on about those individuals right now, as Everland has just recently departed from the Lord's Alliance.
Oh.
The
How
Council of Five voted 3-2 to leave to separate from the Lord's Alliance, officially condemning its actions for lack of coming to the aid of Sundabar.
The aid of Sundabar. Do I know something that happened in Sundabar?
Go ahead and make a history check.
I just like to get the lay of the land. 15.
Okay. So you would have heard a little bit about it. Sundabar was a city. It was sister city of Mirabar. It is now nothing more than a shattered ruin. It was destroyed by orcs. They requested aid from the Lord's Alliance, who sent...
They didn't tell me. And so Everland has decided to not be part of it anymore because they decided that they don't like those actions.
Right. That the council is stating that we're doing this in a symbolic show of support for Sundabar, and officially has condemned the Lord's Alliance for its failures.
Mirabar, Sundabar, wherever you are a bar.
And then,
Interesting.
as he's having talking, this tent, the merchant leans over a little closer. But if you listen to some people out there, there's rumors. It's all being controlled by the Zor family.
The Zor family?
They moved here from Waterdeep years ago. I think they're the puppet masters pulling strings.
You know, my good man, sometimes rumors are more than rumors. But you don't want to stick your neck out too much because, you never know who's waiting with a blade to cut it. But have you heard about what happened in Sakamba recently?
We heard that they had left the Lord's Alliance, but It's really all we got. Don't tend to get much news from that far away down here.
As it turns out, the Rods of Justice had been infiltrated by a tribe of hobgoblins. And they were trying to take over the city. Trying
Watch
to
the eyes get a little wide.
trying to consolidate wealth on taxes and tribute. I would say, my good man, keep an eye out on your governing bodies. Remember, they're supposed to serve you. You don't serve them.
He got this big smile on his face. You can see there's one of his canine teeth is missing. He looks around. That's good advice.
And thank you for the tent.
Thank you.
What's Snow Moon doing? You just looking around the market, buddy?
Yeah, just not looking for anything in particular. Just kind of seeing what's what.
I'll come back. I'll come back to you. If it doesn't look like Sarah is trying to swipe things around in this market.
Probably looking for the newest pie recipe.
It seems to be looking for food. Hasn't been saying a whole lot, as is probably still a little, I guess I'll say a little tail between the legs after the conversation that was had recently. But as those of you who have been want to watch her, you do notice that she is behaving a little more than usual. And when it comes to she's going out and picking up different foods and whatnot. Somebody in chat just gifted the Dungeon Master inspiration.
Oh, it's Derek. Derek.
Hey, Derek.
Hi, Derek.
You do notice she is only picking up enough for herself. She doesn't seem to be buying for the whole family, at least at the moment. But eventually the group of you start to meet back together. And again, it probably took you only about a half an hour between getting to the market, doing what you needed to, and meeting back up. And the day is yours. I will say, Murdoch, with your passive perception, you would have noticed as you were walking away from that individual that sold you the tent and belongings, as you got probably about 10 or 15 feet away, you're man up. I'm hearing rumors, maybe the reason we're not in the Lord's Alliance anymore is they get taken over by hobgoblins. Yeah, they do things like that around here now.
Murdoch thinks to herself, you know, it's good for the common people to not just believe everything they're told, but I need to think about what I tell them sometimes. I don't think he got the gist of what I was hoping to kind of. I don't think the correct seed was planted there.
No.
But you know,
We love independent intelligence check to follow.
We love independent thought. You know, it keeps those in power in check. But you know what? That's not my problem here, unfortunately. We've got a mom to find. I'm on mom duty. All right. Going to be roughing it then.
It sounds
Alright,
like this is your
are we
first time
ready?
and you're all excited.
I'm ready, Snow Moon. Was there anything that you wanted to buy? Do you
No, I'm all set.
no little hobbies to indulge? Anything?
No, I have everything I need. I'm ready to go.
All right. Then I'm also ready.
Okay, so as the group of you start heading out of town, and it's a fairly I guess I'll say a fairly easy, I'm going to call it a path, but you're on an actual trade road that runs between Silvery Moon and Everland. That's sort of from where you are in Everland, down on the Ralvin River. Basically just very slightly sort of starts heading a little bit to the west, and then it's just straight up north along the road until you hit Silvery Moon. So what would people be doing as you're traveling?
Trying out my different jerkies.
Okay.
I'll drop back to Lydia and sort of say in a hushed tone, Lydia, if you eat it all now, you won't have any later.
Oh, you're right. It's just force of habit by now because even though I'm not really hungry from the good berry, and I know I'm not hungry, I still want to munch on stuff.
Try sap. Some sort of sap, you chew it and you keep chewing it and you don't want to chew anything else.
Like maple syrup.
No, well, I mean, before you make it into syrup, sure. It's like chewing sap.
Sap. You find me in the sap and I'll try it.
Well, I'm not sure that there's those types of trees around here, but I'll keep an eye out.
Alright.
Okay, so he's got Fairy sort of looking for trees. Anything Murdoch and Snowman would be doing?
You got anything, Maddie?
Just eyes forward, on the road, seeing if anything catches his eye as we're.
Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Okay. It's 12.
Okay. So, as you all are traveling throughout the day, it seems to be traveling's going pretty well. You do, at your first couple of hours heading out of town, you do run into some people that are traveling south heading to Everland, it appears. You see some people who look to be more like peasant, like farmers, a little bit more rugged, clothes aren't as nice. You do run into one group, looks to be I'll call him older, but older for an elf. And a slightly younger looking human woman, as well as two, what your best guess would be half-orc. Looks like guards of some sort. The elf and the human woman both in much nicer clothing. Just as they're being walked, they have one of the guards in front of them, one in back. Very sort of eyes forward, trying to stay away from people. Past them, for the most part, the day seems to go through without much of an issue until it gets to be probably about an hour or so before dinner. And Maddie, you actually notice as you've been sort of keeping your eye out and looking, there is a lot of light, and it's either torch or firelight coming from a little ways off the road to the east. You can see it through the trees. You're not getting that heavy though smoke smell, so it doesn't seem like it's like it's a forest fire or something like that. There's something back there and it's generating a lot of light.
Okay. Does anyone else see that over there? I see a lot of light. I don't know if it's torchlight or.
Oh, hey, look at that.
That is. I mean, I would have originally said that it was just some sort of bonfire, but it doesn't look like there's any smoke.
Yes, I didn't smell any smoke or see any either, which I thought was a little strange, but I don't.
Campers.
Does it seem like it's. Yeah. Does it seem like it's like getting larger, or is it moving at all, or is it just?
It doesn't. Well, as you guys are sort of continuing along, you're getting closer to it. But it doesn't seem like, as you're looking at it, where the glow is coming from, it doesn't look like that's moving. Whatever it is seems to be stationary. and just a little ways off. And as you start getting closer, you're starting to hear voices. You can hear laughter. And as you're looking up the road, you can actually see people who are traveling from the north. As they're coming down, are actually turning off the road and heading towards the light.
Maybe it is campers, Lydia, or some kind of gathering, because it looks like more people are headed in that direction.
It could be, I know it's common if a lot of merchants are traveling together, they'll take all their wagons, they'll put them sort of in a circle, and they'll all camp out together. So maybe it's some sort of convoy or commune, strength, safety in numbers and all that.
Maybe it's traveling performers. I've only seen them once, but they're amazing.
I suppose it could be. There's a lot of magicians in Silvery Moon. Maybe it's some sort of magic performance troupe. Weirder things have happened. Do you all want to take a look, or
Sure, as long as we're not ruffling any feathers, I wouldn't mind taking a look. Just
it looks
saying
like
hi.
other people are turning off?
Well, are we going to want to camp 2 days out here, or just one? Is the question.
Poke
Because if
our
we
head
stop
by.
early, then we're not going to make it tomorrow.
Well, why don't we just poke our head by and see what's happening first?
Maybe they have news of what's going on in Silvery Moon, and we can get a little bit of foresight, and then continue on afterwards if we're still feeling up to it.
I
Sure.
agree.
I suppose we could poke our heads in.
I like meeting people.
So as you guys sort of catch up to that little intersection, as you can see, it does look like this area of the sort of road has been somewhat cleared out. As you can see that there are a couple of trees that were right on the roadside that seem to have been cut down. But it looks like the actual area in the back seems to be set up in what looks like it was a somewhat natural clearing. And actually, let me change this here. I'm not in the city anymore.
I was gonna say, there's a crying child in this commune. And horses.
As you start entering, you start to hear more voices. You can hear the sounds of different horses and other animals that, as you're walking down, it's probably only about 40 or 50 feet off the road to get into this little encampment. And Murdoch, you're starting to get a feeling, oh, I was right. It looks like it's some sort of merchants. As you can see, there are 4 or 5 carriages and coaches on the right-hand side. But as you start getting a little closer, there is actually on the back of the coach closest to the road and closest to you, there is a massive, very ornately painted name on the back of it. And it says Zaros Shade. Traveling circus and showman.
Lydia.
They're the best!
You know?
Well, not these guys. I haven't heard of them in particular. I'm sure they're great, but traveling circusmen and shows are the best.
I thought you said you hadn't seen one before.
No, just once. I saw a traveling
Just
performance once. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, old ears. Wow, you made a very good assumption.
Yeah, who knew? I could do that occasionally. I just...
I wonder if they're stopped for an off-the-road performance, or if they're in the middle of going between venues.
as you say that, you start to hear from within the sounds of cheers, and you can start to hear somebody seems to be shouting things out in the background. It actually does seem like there is a show being put on.
Go. Please.
I look
Murdoch!
over at Art.
Oh.
Art's going to give a little bit of a shrug. And if we push a little more tomorrow, if we just stay for a few, if we push a little harder tomorrow, we're gonna. Meaning we have to wake up early and leave early.
The teleportation
Well worth
saved
it.
us. The teleportation saved us several weeks worth of travel. I think that you deserve maybe a little bit of entertainment to lift your spirits a bit.
Sort of hem and haw a little bit, give a nod.
Oh, this is going to bring
Nothing
me
will
back
fool
to
you,
my
Art.
college days.
Your college days. What does that
Yeah.
mean?
My bardic college
Oh.
days.
Right.
A lot of people, a lot of jugglers, a lot of tumblers, people swallowing a lot of circus types at a bardic college. I was
Are we
not
going to go watch the show or what?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, Murdoch, but I mean, it's going on as we speak. I don't.
It's going on as we speak, and I'm an old lady, and I get lost in my memories. Yes, we can go.
So as you start
I'd
going
love
up,
to hear about them later.
there is somebody standing as you get a little closer. They've got a little bit of almost like think high school gym bleachers, and it looks like they've got this where they sort of pull them out and set up. So they've got a ring going around.
The risers.
And there is somebody standing in front of the little booth. And oh, hello. Welcome. It's 2 copper each, and in you go. Enjoy the show. We have knife throwers, we have jugglers, we have all manner of beasts and creatures. We even have a couple of strange abominations.
It sounds scary. All right, I'll flip them. What was it? 2 copper a
2
person?
copper.
Okay, I'll.
So let's-
Meh.
for the whole party it would be a silver and 2 copper.
I don't have copper. I'll give him 2 silver.
He looks at it and
Keep the change. Keep the change.
in you go. Enjoy the show.
Do you have popped corn?
Oh, that's. Wait, you'll find
Candy
someone
floss?
inside. They're sort of wandering. And as the group of you start to walk in and see this sort of, again, picture going to your high school bleachers that they had to pull out from the wall. It's just they pop out stands that people are sitting on. And as you're standing there, and you can see this individual standing in the center, long black hair pulled back tight in a ponytail, very tall, stereotypical like top hat, black, looks like a black tails, like a very, what at one point was a very nice tuxedo jacket, has definitely seen some better days. You can see there's some stains on different spots on it. It's a little dirty. But he's in there, and he's right out. You can see right now there's a couple of people standing a little ways behind him that seem to be juggling knives back and forth to each other. But you see walking around in that sort of front row, there are people walking around with large casks on their shoulders. And then
Is there a seat in the front row?
Lydia, I think you would block views.
Shh. This is my favorite.
So yes, there are a couple seats in the front row.
I barge on over next to like children, and I'm like, let's start this. I'm so excited. Only seen one of these. No, it's really young. It's gonna be great, guys.
Okay, so as Lydia's taken off running, and right up front, what are the rest of you doing?
Oh I do need to be relatively close. So, you know, of the glasses. Do we all want to try and sit together?
I mean, if there's space, but if there's not,
Yeah,
I'll find
sure.
one in a, I say like middle, um, you know.
Yeah, it's easy enough as you're looking around. It's not like they're parked right outside the city. You guys have been traveling for the better part of a day. So it's. And again, they are a little ways out, and they were set up when you got here. So yeah, it's easy enough that the group of you can find a spot to sit together. Again, it'll be a little trickier if you're all trying to get into the front row. Is much as Lydia said, there's a bunch of kids.
Like
and things.
maybe a couple rows up. At least that's what Murdoch.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, kind of sit in the same general area as them. It doesn't need to be the front row.
Easy enough to do. You see, there's one of the individuals walking around with this cask on his shoulder. Keeps hollering out wine. There's another one yelling water. There's a couple of selling different snacks. There's a couple with like small game animals, so things like think like quail, squirrel, rabbit. You know, little things like that that they've caught and cooked up on a stick.
Do you want anything to eat or drink, Snow Moon? I was going to get some refreshments.
Sure. Yeah, I'll have some water and maybe one of the animals. Maybe the quail. That sounds interesting.
Sure. Quailman, Waterman. Murdoch would like to get some water and quail for Snow Moon, and she'll get some wine for herself.
Easy enough to do. It takes a couple of moments as you're sort of looping around the bottom. So one pops up, and as they're popping up to you, they're charging 2 copper for everything.
I literally only have gold, so I don't want to make them make change.
I'll throw silver. If I notice this, I'll see.
They're behind you, so if you're watching the show, you'd have no idea
Okay.
this is going on.
No, you know what?
And I want wine.
Do if it's like separate men, do you split tips at the end of the night? I only have one. I only have a gold, and I forgot to ask for change.
And they're like, it's all going to the show. We're all here together, so.
All right.
And you
Thank
watch as
you.
he sort of flags over to the other two and points down at you two. So eventually they
Thank
come
you.
over and you get exactly what you were looking for. They don't look for any extra coin at this point.
Oh, excuse me. Snow Moon, here's. Hold on. Hold this. Hold on. Here's quail.
Get down in front, hurry up!
Okay.
I
Oh
can't
wait.
get you to
You're down here. You're down here. Hold on. Here's your water.
I don't have a cup.
Oh. Well, there you go.
Maddie, didn't
Thank
you
you,
get the
thank
message
you.
we said carrot top tonight? You need to have your own props ready.
Props
Damn,
ready for
I
everyone.
missed the memo.
All right. Oh wait, hold on. They've got I've got a napkin. They gave me a napkin. Here's a napkin for you.
Draw.
Messy.
I don't have that either.
Okay.
Eventually, you start noticing. All of you go ahead and make perception checks for me. As you're watching, as these different performers are coming out.
10. I'm really absorbed in the show.
If you roll a 1, you miss the show.
That was a 19 for me.
No,
It is a 19 for me.
Snow Moon.
7.
Oh, okay.
I love appreciating the
Okay.
arts.
Okay, so Lydia, Sarah, and Snow Moon. The 3 of you are just really enjoying the show. They've got people coming out. They've got bears coming out, and these bears and you watch as the bears are coming over, and literally like rising up and looking like they're, and then just sort of dropping down, and a very sort of theatrical sort of feel to it. Artemis,
Okay.
Murdoch, and Furia all start to notice something as they're watching the show. As the first thing that hits you when you walk in here is the smell of food. You can smell the different meats being cooked. Everything seems to be very centered on the entire experience. But as you're sitting here and sort of acclimating to that, you start noticing there's another smell. Decay. And as you're watching the show, you start to realize these performers are not alive.
What did I say at the start of this? So Murdoch quickly goes and remembers what Furia said in the crypt and kind of like.
And you can see Art is having a very similar sort of like,
I'm like, yeah. Probably at this point, I'm like sniffing the air, like trying to determine exactly where the smell's coming from, or whether it's just everywhere.
Are the audience members, the other people watching?
no, they all
Okay.
look like you. Yeah, that's when you're looking around with those checks. The audience, everyone's sitting in a seat, and a couple of people, like the ticket taker at the booth, a couple of people selling things, everyone looks normal. It seems like it is specifically I guess I'll say the performers. With the exception of the one wearing the top hat.
Hugh Jackman.
I would start looking for the bear to see if the bear was also not quite right. Because my concern about animals.
Mm.
As you're looking around, yeah, it definitely looks like a undead bear.
Because I do want I want Maddie to have a chance to experience the horror of this without just telling Snowmoon. I would say, because Murdoch probably would have really wanted you to sit with her, she was really excited because she does appreciate what she would assume are fellow bards and performers and such, and her mood went like plummeted, and she's like not drinking
I was
her
just
wine and stuff.
yeah, I was just gonna say, would I notice my party members? Like, would I notice a change in them? Since I'm
Given
sitting,
that you're
especially
sitting
Murdoch
right
sitting
beside
next to
Murdoch, you would probably notice Murdoch. Again, from where you're seeing Murdoch's right beside you, Murdoch's easy to notice. Lydia is down in front. Sarah's probably sitting down that direction too, being how small she is. And they don't seem to be noticing anything. They're just having a great time. But yeah, you definitely noticed Murdoch was excited a couple of moments ago, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah, I would probably have much the same change in attitude. Like, not paying as much attention to the show anymore and trying to figure out what is. Start looking around more instead of looking at the show.
yeah, it seems to be all the other audience members, as you're looking around, the kids, everything else, seem to be having a great time with it.
Murdoch, is something wrong? What you look like something's on your mind.
Yes, Snowmoon, I think something is wrong. Something very unnatural is happening here.
You smell that too? It wasn't just me?
Yes.
Smell? I don't...
Snowmoon, try and take a close look at those performers.
Okay, and I'll do a double take and try to look more closely at the performers this time.
Yeah, so as you're looking a little closer, you don't even have to make a roll for it, as it's sort of being called out to you now. And you start really focusing on this individual that's, circling sort of in front of the guy, barking out and calling out the different attractions to it. And you watch as it seems to be a sword swallower. And you're very familiar with the swords and martial weapons. And you watch as this individual puts back and just literally sticks the sword down the throat. And as you're looking for a moment, you like swords. You've got a really beautiful one. You start thinking, if you do that way, you're literally going to slash yourself open from throat to entrail. There is no way that that's gimmicked or anything. And as it pulls the sword back out, as you're real focused on it, you can even see that you can tell that this sword actually cut into this individual. But they're walking around, waving it around like nothing's wrong.
You're right, Murdoch. I mean, I don't know anything about sword swallowing, but I can see that blade from here, and I know you couldn't do what they just did and still be standing upright.
In any other performance, I would say that's the point. It's a very, very good trick, but I don't think this is a trick. Furia, I think that I don't want to be here. I thought this would be a good thing for Artemis, but I think that we should leave.
Well, I mean, I don't think staying here is going to hurt anything, necessarily.
It just makes me
Smells
feel...
weird.
I appreciate the arts and I appreciate performance, and this is... And then everyone claps. Macabre puppetry. This isn't art. This is
Well, I'm sure it
disgusting.
took some skill to make all these performers.
And would I start to notice the smell as well, since I'm kind of,
now that
more onto something
as
being
you're
wrong
looking
here?
around and you start realizing things are wrong, you're now focusing, and now you're slightly more actively using all of your senses to try to figure out what's going on here. At least those you have back.
Well, why don't we just,
You're
tap
right.
on the shoulder, say we should go, and say we'll explain outside, so we don't incite panic.
Okay. I could try and flip Lydia a quick message. She is right at the front.
That might help. She was very, very excited. I'll go get Sarah.
Okay.
Lydia, about that time as they're having this conversation, you watch as the couple of people that had been sort of circling around, they start to pull back in. And then the gentleman in the front. All right, everyone, we've got the big finale coming up, and I need volunteers. I need 3-4 people to volunteer. And all of a sudden, there are kids jumping up as they're looking left, and you can see the Murdoch. You now notice the couple of individuals who had been walking around with barrels and food and stuff are now walking basically in almost cardinal positions, looking at people to call volunteers. Lydia, roll a D100 for me.
Okay.
Murdoch is trying to scratch at some of the copper scales behind her ear and flip a message spell, and is like, Lydia, put your hands down. Do not volunteer.
2.
Okay. As you're flailing in there, and do you listen? As Murdoch's saying, put your hands down.
No, I'm waving there. I'm waving like I just don't care. Murdoch, this is the chance of a lifetime to be part of the circus.
No, Lydia, we're leaving. We have to get.
Yes.
We have to.
You can leave. Just leave me here for like 20 more minutes or something.
As you're sending that,
oh,
you watch as one of them pulls up as she rolled lower than her level. As Lydia gets brought out towards this gentleman in the black hat. And then you watch a small, looks to be no more than maybe 8 or 9 years old little human girl is brought out from one section. Probably about a 15, 16-year-old boy from another one. And then from that further section from the back starts bringing one more looks to be a dwarven, hard to guess with an age, somewhat short beard, a little longer than mine, but not quite, like you don't think they're a full-grown adult yet. And as the individual comes, sort of brings them all around and stands them in front of this individual in front.
Okay, so now we get to the fun part now. Before you all going to be really brave for me, right?
And the kids are all excited, and then Lydia, as you're standing there looking at this dwarven individual, they're a little more than half in the bag. As
Now remember, this is all just part of the act. But now we
Okay.
bring out the freaks and the abominations. And this is where things get good.
Okay. Big fan. What do I have to do?
as he sort of puffs his chest back out and goes,
Okay, you're a big one. Okay, we're going to put you
and he gestures over to one of them, and he starts walking you over, and looks like it's just a small, like a little circular platform. It's only about 3 or 4 feet up. He brings you over and helps you has you stand up on that. You see the 2 smaller children are brought over and are standing on one end of a looks to be a seesaw. And the dwarven individual is being helped over by the other one who had initially been selling wine. Brings him over and actually disappears off in between 2 rows of the sort of benches, and just sort of disappears out of view a little bit. And the 2 kids are looking at each other, and they're both standing facing each other right on this seesaw on the bottom of it with, nothing up on the top end. Now the guys look around.
Well, everyone, welcome out. It's time for our finale. So we have this lovely, large lady. We have our 2 precious children here. And we have our other friend who is going to be helping from off stage for a few moments. And it's all going to be matter. All you have to do, and he gestures to you, Lydia, is be ready to catch.
And then he gives a little bit of a nod. And from the ground in front of you, Lydia, you watch as the ground starts to crack and turn like something underneath it. As all of a sudden around you, you can tell just looking at it, there is something tunneling and digging right underneath the surface. And as you're looking at it, the first thing that hits your mind is sort of like a shark circling. It's like how when a shark's circling, you see the water sort of fluctuating, and it's happening around you. And then as you're looking around, you can see you see shadows going across the ground as you look up. There are massive humanoid bats flying about 25 feet above. And it looks, literally, looks to be a human, but with bat wings and a very a literal bat face
Oh,
flying above. And it looks like there are 2 or 3 of them up there. And then you start noticing on where the 2 children are standing on that bottom end, you can see things starting to almost burrow. And unlike at your area where it seems to be circling around you, you can see there is something that is poking through the ground and then digging back under, giving that sort of undulating move towards the children. As all of a sudden you watch as the arm points and goes off towards where that dwarven individual was. And you hear, "Oh shit!" And that's where we're going to take tonight's break,
oh no!
as it is 9:30.
Oh my goodness.
And we have something happening here. So don't go
Gotcha,
anywhere,
circus.
folks. We will be back in just a few moments to see what sort of thing is happening at this strange undead under the big top this evening. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a few moments.
BRB!
Welcome back, everyone. I apologize that we don't have our fancy thing. I broke my transitions when I set up the new overlay for missing people. That will be fixed before next time. But we will jump right back in as our party has just heard a very drunken dwarvish voice yell, "Oh shit," from off to the side. And then heard a bunch of kids start tittering because, you know, somebody said a naughty word. Lydia, go ahead and make a perception check, as you're really the only one who is in the right position to see what's going on.
Terribly again. 13.
Okay, well,
Rolled a
not,
6.
not bad enough that you miss this. So
Okay.
as you're standing there facing towards these two kids that are standing on the bottom section of a seesaw, you watch as one of those creatures flying above has dove down out of view of the group and has hoisted the dwarf into the air.
Oh, it's neat.
And as you watch as he flies up and towards the teeter-totter and lets go. As you watch as this dwarf starts falling.
Let's
And now
catch it.
all of you hear the dwarf as he starts to fall.
I mean, we're like all the way up in the stands.
And then you watch as he hits the seesaw. And his side drops, launching the two children up into the air.
Murdoch's having like a conniption fit in her seat.
Lydia, as you're sitting there and you're watching this and you're ready to catch, go ahead and roll a d20 for me. As you hear a
We're looking
click.
great tonight, guys. I rolled another 6.
Okay.
This
And
dice is
what,
not good.
what is better for you, athletics or acrobatics?
Athletics.
Okay, what's your what would athletics be then?
That'd be an 11 total.
Okay. As you hear the click, the group of you watch as, and Lydia, you can hear this. You hear, as all of a sudden, you get launched towards these two children. And as you're flying closer, the two of them are going to reach out and try to grab onto you and see if they can help.
I thought it'd be catching cantaloupes.
And as you're flying towards them and reaching out, you grab onto one of them easily. As you go for the other, you miss, but she actually manages to grab onto your arm.
Oh, thank goodness.
And as the two of you start, the group of the three, you start to plummet towards the ground. You look down at where the dwarf had fallen, and there's nothing there but looks to be a small pool of water.
What?
As you just and slam into a looks to be maybe a 3 or a 4 foot pool of water.
I'm
As
dead.
the kids jump up and they're hooting and they're
Oh, okay.
you can feel you can feel they're shaking, but as you're looking at their face, their eyes are wide and they're having a great time. You can see as you're looking around, you can see a couple of groups of parents like you're assuming are probably belonging to these children. And as the group of you are sitting in the water, all of a sudden the water sits up and looks at you. Gives a little bit of a nod,
Okay.
and then slowly starts to change. and you see the dwarf standing in front of you again. Big poo-eating grin on the face. As he proceeds to help the group of you, the group
I
of,
start applauding loudly. Just cheering.
and eventually, the top hat comes out and is hooting hog calling out to the different people out there. It's like, give them all a hand. They all made it just fine. And the things you had seen flying up above, they come landing down. The dwarf steps out. Some of the other performers step out and is. Now everyone's giving a bow. They gesture over you and the kids, waiting for the three of you to bow. And then it seems like the show is starting to break up. The parents come running over, hugging the kids, and they're laughing. Seem to be having a great time with it. And you
I run
walk
over to find my party.
as you take off running towards the party, and the rest of you, as you're watching this, you can see the gentleman in the top hat. Now takes the top hat over, scratches the head a little bit, puts it back on, and starts walking out the other direction.
That was awesome. Did you see me? I caught those kids midair. It was amazing.
Do we want to do something about this, or are we just going to leave?
Do something about what? The sheer amazing talent I have of being in the circus and how I missed my true calling? How do I take levels in Bard?
I like legit don't know what to say.
I mean, I'm fine with walking away, and I mean, they seem to have things under
Walking
control.
away, I want an autograph! Do you think he gives out autographs?
I don't know, Lydia. I really thought someone was going to get hurt, but it didn't seem like anyone was.
I mean, if you're in the circus business, it's kind of bad for your reputation, isn't it, if you injure people daily, every show?
Right, of course.
Maybe we should just be on our way and...
Autograph. And I'll go, I'll
Lydia-
grab,
Lydia,
yes?
I think it's wise we just go. Unless you...
What?
I mean,
Did you see me? I was in the damn circus!
you
How
were on
about-
stage, yes.
I
If
want
you-
to join.
How about we all go with you then? Just he's probably gone back to his carriage for the night.
Alright. Let's just
Yeah,
go
we should all
check
go.
the... Can we just go check the stage entrance just to see if he's
We
standing
can go
by giving autographs?
we can go out and around, but we're not going to go into like an employee's
No, no,
only-
no, just out and around. I just want to see if he's just standing there giving out
But if he's-
portraits.
But if he's gone, then we're gonna go right back on the road.
Alright, alright.
Okay, so as you guys head out, and sort of,
Murdoch's like, she's got her wine. It's like she's like shaking, and she's like,
as you do walk around, you actually do see him on the opposite side of this little performance area, and he is just getting hounded by kids. And there are a couple, some of the parents are off to the side and they're laughing, and chatting with themselves as everything showing on. You hear a couple of them. Oh, it was even better than last time. Did you see that big one we had this time? Yeah, usually he's really gonna look for some, but she seemed really into it.
And make my way over and...
A couple of them looking in. A couple of parents who go back and sort of pull back a little. The kids, on the other hand, though, as you start getting closer to him, and you can hear, "Oh, but of course, yeah." And he's taking out little bits of parchment and signing off, and another one pulls out and signs up, and then after a couple minutes, she looks and goes, "Oh, you! Welcome. What are you doing back here?"
I just wanted a quick auto. I just wanted a quick autograph. Join what?
Oh, well, I suppose. I mean, you were a part of our finale, of course. And goes down, grabs a little bit. And he goes, and signs his name on there, big flourish to it, and line underneath it, hands it over to you. But I want one of yours, because you will be famous someday. And he hands you a quill and a little piece of parchment.
Alright, I'll sign my name on it. Say, that's awesome! I would love to do it.
I'm definitely like looking between Murdoch and Lydia.
Yeah, is it just? Oh, it's already been done. But did it look just like a blank piece of paper that she just signed?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Can I attempt to grab this parchment out from whoever's holding it at the moment?
You can certainly try.
I would like to try.
Yeah, it's just a 6.
Okay, yeah, you're really not sure.
What would you like me to roll?
First lawyer rule: don't sign it.
Well, I remember very distinctly Murdoch not saying, "Don't give out your real name," and I'm like, "Well, signing your name is a step up from that." So I'm like, "No."
I like this one.
Sleight of hand.
All right.
This one. Sorry, I never remember which way to point.
That is a 21.
Ooh.
My dice are loving me tonight so
Okay.
far.
So you do manage as Lydia signs it and hands it over to him, and he's holding up, and you manage to pull it out of his hand. You go, "What? I have more paper if you want a signature of hers yourself."
I'm sorry. Our group doesn't give out signatures. It's a policy thing. I'm sure you'll understand.
It's not in the contract. Oh shit, I'm cursed with bad luck. I'm sorry, Murdoch.
Lydia, we have our signature. Maybe we should go.
Alright, well, I don't know how you did it, but I want to see you next time you perform. I can do flashy lights and stuff. And I'll try to do some lights around him. I'll be like, just keep me in mind.
As he sort of look around. It was a pleasure to meet you. Lydia, was it?
Yes!
As
Yes!
no doubt you can see, my name is Zaro Shade. And we do
Oh,
travel
you
from
are
here to
Lee's
there,
arrow
so
shade. It's amazing.
something tells me we will run into each other again someday.
Oh, I hope so. That was awesome. Alright, we can go now. I guess. Thank
Gives
you,
a little bow
Zara.
and he goes back to watches these again, signing things and handing them over to the children.
I'm like that little kid that just keeps looking back, like, Murdoch's like gently leading me out, and I just keep looking back behind my shoulder, like, ah.
I'm pushing Lydia, and I like look like between like Snow Moon and Furia, just kind of like, do we tell her or do we just let her have this?
Maybe if
Guess
it
I'll just
becomes a
kinda-
problem later.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we don't need to explain all the details right now.
I will take the signature and sort of rip it in half, just in case.
Okay.
Murdoch will say, Lydia, you did it was very jaw-dropping to watch what you did. It
Felt like teleporting, but better. It felt like magic.
You do actual magic.
That's what it feels like.
I'm happy that you enjoyed yourself.
Like arts magic, though. Like the flashy kind.
You just did some lights that danced around. I mean, that was flashy.
That was too little of me to say that. All right, let's go.
We can get a little bit more traveling towards Silvery Moon before we settle down.
Because you were probably only in there for about an hour between everything you guys were watching. And Lydia, I'm sorry, Fury, are you keeping the two halves of Lydia's signature, or did you just rip them up and throw them away?
Art was the other person that noticed what was going on, right?
Yep.
I would ask Art to do some detect magic on the side as we keep traveling.
Okay.
Just check out. And then if nothing happens, I'll put them in my bag of holding.
Okay.
Even if,
Let's see,
yeah.
Okay, and Art actually appears to. Yeah, it looks like Art has it prepared.
Or identify, or something wizardy.
So as you're going in, Murdoch's got got Lydia led away. Art, now you give it to Art, and Art proceeds to start casting incantations and trying to do it without people noticing. Lydia, what is your passive perception?
17.
Okay. Let's see what this check is. Okay, so you do hear, you do notice that Art, during the point of trying, you can hear Art muttering, and you've seen and heard Art cast spells before, so you know they're doing something magical.
Okay.
Art does get a little information back. Furia hands you back the paper, which is now whole again. With Lydia's
Well, that's not
signature on
good.
it. And Art just says that it does appear to be magic, but I haven't run into something like this before.
Oh.
All right, Art. Okay, all right. Maybe. Hey, Murdoch. We might have a problem.
Did you mend it?
I regret having fun. Ever. I will hold my hand out for it.
Art doesn't know. I'll give it over.
Is it just a piece of paper with
As
name on it?
as you're looking at it right now, there does not appear to be any other text on it.
Is there room on it for other text? Is it like a full sheet of paper with a signature at the bottom?
It's not a full sheet. So picture like if you just have a roll of parchment and you're just ripping stuff off. So there is space. Literally, there's space around it. It's not like Lydia's signature took up the entire page. But at the same point, it's not like she's signed in the bottom line. Right, basically, if she was to sign... I could have done something like that too, had I thought.
Lydia noted cast a spell magic on it, though.
So picture something basically sort of like this, and if you're ready for the rating. So it's
Okay.
like there's space all around it where there could be other things printed on it. There may be stuff printed underneath where she signed as well. Or rather, there's space for it, but you don't see anything.
Alright. I don't... Okay. It put itself back together when it was ripped.
Furia handed it to Art when it was in two pieces. Art just handed one piece of paper back.
I mean, I tore it right down the middle with the signature. Now it's...
I mean, should we just get
Tear it
rid of it,
again.
or should we still hold on to it?
I
Or
think, I mean, if Art doesn't know what this is about, I think it's a little bit more serious, or we should definitely hold on to it until we know what's going on here.
Hmm. Did Lydia use his quill to sign it, or did Lydia offer a quill for the signature that you used?
He was already signing them. He had a quill in hand.
Okay.
And
I
then
can't do it.
when he asked for Lydia's, he handed her quill and parchment.
Can I hold on to this?
By all means.
sure.
Murdoch's
Don't
going
I
to-
get to vote? What does it mean?
No, I took it as mine now. Now
My
I give it to
signature.
Murdoch.
I mean, you don't want a piece of paper with your own name on it, right?
But if it's bad news, shouldn't I have responsibility over my own fortune?
Murdoch is probably the best person we have to figure out what's going on.
I think it's, in a way, you don't have responsibility. I think you may have just given something away.
That's what I was afraid of when you started looking like that, all pensive like.
This is my job. This is my job. Don't feel bad about it. The people that do these things are tricky. And they're normally incredibly nice. And he was. She folds it and puts it into one of her books in her suitcase. We will take a look. And I will see what we can do.
And as the evening progresses, some of you more cheerful than others, eventually the evening comes to a close. You guys sort of step off the road a little ways, start setting up camp. Would you guys be taking watches this evening?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, who would be taking
Yes.
what watch?
I'll take the first one since I need the campfire to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then I'll take the last.
Yeah, I guess I'll take the second watch then.
I'll stay up a little bit during Lydia's watch so that Murdoch can try and explain a couple things to her, because I don't want her to be too uninformed, and because you might actually be able to help.
I'll make sure that Murdoch actually is able to set up her tent.
Thank you, you know,
Because tents can be a little bit tricky, you know, with all the ropes and the stakes and everything.
And
It-
we'll have
it-
Artemis take the third watch because Art has dark vision. So I need perception checks from Lydia, Snowmoon, and Furia.
Ooh, much better. 23.
Oh, 1. So it's a 4 total.
I got a 15 for mine.
Oh, okay. And what was yours, Lydia?
23.
Okay. And, wow, even Art showing up, Snowmoon there. Snowmoon's got distracted. He's doing that lovely
I for
date at the circus. So, as the night begins, Lydia and Murdoch, the evening is yours as you are on first watch.
All right.
Murdoch,
don't
I'm
want-
sorry. I
No.
wasn't thinking. I do that a lot, and I'm sorry.
I already said don't apologize. You are having fun, and the reason why I didn't get all in a tizzy is because from what we saw, and she probably will explain what we think was happening. Because I don't want to keep it from you, actually.
Yeah, the undead thing. Okay.
But, and I know that you probably have a certain way that you want to feel about that because you are a cleric, but for me,
Kind of gross.
it makes me uncomfortable, but I wasn't going to put those people in danger if that man wasn't putting anyone in danger.
Right. I understand.
So I didn't see anything of harm, but I was worried that when he immediately asked you to join, and then immediately paper and quill was produced, that sets off alarm bells on me.
Mm.
I think maybe there could possibly be some illusory script on this piece of paper,
Mm.
which actually you might be able to do something about. If you are able to, you seem powerful. Are you able to? I think you've mentioned before that you are able to dispel magic.
Yes, I can. Only at a certain height of magic though. Like I can't do really powerful runes and stuff like that. Just sort of little enchantments for now.
Illusory script is something very, very common in contracts with not so savory beings. Thankfully, it's not a super powerful illusion. You may be able to try that on this piece of paper. It may just entirely break whatever is on it, or it may reveal a little bit more information.
Okay. I will take the paper from Marak if she's offering it.
Oh, you have it prepared.
Yes.
Yeah.
And cast dispel magic.
You're muted.
Thank you. Almost made it one episode. Almost.
So close.
As Lydia takes a few moments and casts her incantations while the rest of the group is resting, you do start to see words appear.
I mean, no, but yay!
Yeah.
As you're looking at it, it specifies that once Lydia has shuffled free of this mortal coil,
Oh dear.
her body joins the circus.
That's so morbid.
It's basically, this individual does not care what happens with the soul or extraplanar entity. They want the meat shell when you're done using it.
They want me to donate my body to science or the
To the
arts.
circus.
Yeah.
Basically, you signed your
Oh.
organ donor card.
Yeah. Does it say this in common?
Mhm.
Okay. Oh well. I was gonna plan on going out to Njord and a Viking funeral, but this seems kind of cooler.
Are you okay? Are you okay with that?
Kind of. Strangely, I am.
Is your... I don't know a lot about clerics. Is that
Do
like
I?
all good? Fair enough.
I live on a remote island, just have these powers. It's great.
I mean, if you're...
I don't know if Njord
Alright.
would like it. Njord would probably want me to go to Viking funeral. Alright, maybe we should do something about this.
I can try something really, really simple.
Okay.
It depends on how smart the person is that's writing the contract. He used his own quill, which is... I can try to make it just a different name. And see if that does something. That's like the easiest thing to attempt. But obviously, we're not really gonna know unless you kick the bucket. Or if we can somehow permanently destroy this contract. I'll take like my quill and I'll try to like add on to Lydia's name to like make it like Lidiola,
Okay.
Lidialo. I don't think that's gonna legit help at all, but it's the most I can do right now. The big thing would be if you destroy the documentation, or if we if we sort of worked on the clause of what happens when you die,
How do
it
you
says when you
change?
leave.
How do you destroy the documentation?
Typically, I would say with stronger magic than it took to create it.
Hmm.
I think that's a pretty safe assumption. Thankfully, we are going to a place with very powerful mages, and as long as we don't piss too many of them off, maybe we can earn a favor.
Oh, thanks, Murdoch. At least I know that if I go, I'll be dancing somewhere.
You'll be bringing macabre joy to children for many years.
Mm.
I'll give you the piece of paper now.
All right.
So that now that you know, as a reminder, if things ever look grim, just know that maybe you can make some people laugh in the end.
Keep 'em laughing as you go. You must always face the curtain with a bow.
In the future, if someone asks you to sign something,
Don't.
sign it. Either don't or sign just a different name. That's why I go by Murdoch.
What? Murdoch's not your real name?
I have to follow my own rules.
Hmm. I gotta get used to an alias then. I'm not going to, but I'll try something out sometime. I'm sure.
Just keep using it until it feels like second nature. Like
Hmm.
me.
You are like second nature being here. Thanks. Alright.
Okay. My bones hurt. I'm going to sleep. You keep
Good
watching
night,
out?
Murdoch. Yep. Have a good night, Murdoch.
Okay,
Thank you.
Good night. To my tent.
It is a rather nice tent. As you're looking at the others, in their those who set up their tents, it's like you've got that tent that's really intended for like family size.
Hmm.
And
You're going glamping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking it.
And Vera's got this set up. She's got the cot set up. The bed rolls on top of the cot give you a little extra cushioning. So you're gonna be as comfortable as one can be out in the middle of the wilderness.
Look, I'm roughing it. I'm getting.
Good job, Murdoch. Good job.
I'm detaching myself from the needs of society.
As I'm sleeping draped over a tree branch, 20 feet in the air.
Murdoch's the person that goes camping in like the like $35,000 RV that has like a TV and like plumbing and is like, look at me, showing nature who's boss.
That's the only way you're dragging me out there, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, evening goes by without a problem for those of you taking watch. The morning the next morning dawns. Based on what you were advised, you're pretty sure you'll be if you push through today, where you did take that like hour and change at the show. You'll probably be getting to Silvery Moon a little later in the evening. Still be able to get in and get to an inn for the evening. But, you might want to think about what you're going to do for dinner if you're not of the goodberry munching variety.
Signature look like the wording on the contract.
Sid, who now?
Does Zaris' signature that I got look like the wording on the contract that I have?
No. It does not.
Zardus is a lawyer! Murdoch! Murdoch, you just gotta outlawyer someone!
I have to who to the what now? I'm just waking up.
I know, these two papers are completely different. Zardus didn't write the contract. God, look!
As you're looking, the signature is it looks completely different.
Good
That
or
is
bad?
very-
We did the
Good.
same thing.
I'm going to say that's good.
Okay.
Contracts, and I'm kind of waking up myself.
The signature, the autograph from last night has. Well, Lydia, you can explain if you want.
I explain. That's what happens,
Okay.
Ramon.
So,
But
Okay.
Lydia, what if you, I mean, we're in a big fight and you die and we still have time to bring you back? What's going to happen? Are you just going to disappear and appear back at the circus? Are we going to have time to bring you back before that happens?
I don't know. That's a good question. All good questions, Furia. Murdoch, what do you think of the handwriting? I'm just doing that because I don't know the answers, Furia. I'm not ignoring you. I'm sorry.
I think that this is sort of a wheel and woe sort of thing. It means that most likely the one that's doing the raising is someone else. That the showman is just a face, so to speak. Probably has his own deal, as he does not seem to be of the undead persuasion. That could mean that the actual one is more powerful. That could mean that the showman could be a thread to tug on, you know, to sort of get a little bit of leeway. The curious thing is, normally in contracts they want souls, not bodies. That makes me a little bit less inclined to think that this is some sort of fiendish thing, which is good. This feels very fey, if it's extra planar at all. It could just be someone with a really sick sense of humor and not wanting to pay their workers. It could be a capitalist.
I'm going to cast.
Good business plan. Trick people into signing their bodies away
Yeah.
and wait till they die and boom, free labor.
Free labor, exactly. Capitalism is probably some of the
that's
worst
true.
contract writers. So, I would say worst case scenario, we're dealing with a fae. Best case scenario, we're dealing with someone that wants to make money.
Hmm.
Those capitalist necromancers.
Alright, I'm gonna send, do a thing. I'm gonna cast a spell.
Okay.
I'm gonna send, do sending to this, Zaros fellow.
Okay.
I'm going to hand out good berries to her, whoever wants them in the meantime.
I will eat one.
Bury me, good woman.
Toss them down from my
Sure,
tree.
thank you.
I'm gonna try to disguise my voice
I'll
in
try
my
one
head.
too, thanks.
Okay.
I know what you did! Give me my body back! Or else you will suffer!
Make an intimidation check for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Not bad. 14.
Yeah.
Okay. A few minutes goes by, and you get a response back. If you signed, it's really not in my position to do anything about that. Good luck.
He's giving you the take it up with higher management shtick.
How long does this last?
I think sending is you have to recast every
Yeah,
message.
sending is basically
Yeah.
one message, one response.
No, seeing how long the duration was. What, one round? I'm just gonna send back for 6 seconds me screaming internally. You can picture this however you like, Matthew.
What languages do you speak?
Common, Elvish, and Giant.
You get back, you can tell it is extremely angry.
Mhm.
Could almost have an Elvish, like, slide to it, but it's not Elvish.
Okay.
And you can tell whatever he is saying is not... It's something you'd probably be used to hearing, given your, background on a pirate ship.
Yeah.
But it's not something you'd ever repeat in mixed company.
Okay. Well, the joke's on him. I can do that 3 times a day whenever he wants.
Lydia, I'm your problem now. I'm your problem now.
Yeah, you're
I've
stuck
seen
with
your
me.
face.
I'm not
Yeah.
stuck with you.
You better hope I die soon.
Yeah,
But I'm a furbog. I live forever.
I do. I live to be like 500 years old. It's crazy. Alright, so that's
Unless
too
I
fun.
kill you.
Unless you kill me.
You're gonna die and your body's like gonna instantly teleport.
I
And
know,
we're gonna
I
have
know.
to go to the circus and get you back. Oh wait, but if you
What? Oh no.
if you're undead, you can't bring an undead.
No.
You're gone.
That's hilarious.
You can't be revived.
Dudes, I go to the circus when I die. This is so funny.
When I die, take me to the big top. Put me in a clown outfit and tell me to juggle.
It's gonna be a furball tap dancing on a high wire.
On a unicycle. It's just
On a tricycle. One of them like little
On a
3-year-old tricycles.
Oh, Lydia,
Oh my god.
these past 2 sessions, you've just really you
I've really outdone myself. Yeah.
You and the dead.
Mm,
You and the dead.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to cleric.
Someday Nora's gonna have problems with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as you guys are traveling throughout the day, it seems to just be a pleasant day. Fury, you would notice the weather is starting to get a little inclement. Clouds are starting to roll in. You're pretty sure at some point, late evening or potentially even, if you're lucky, maybe early night, it's probably going to start raining. And you just got that, the wind is starting to pick up in that way. You're getting that smell, where you can just smell the moisture and the rain on the air. Is there anything the group would be doing as they're traveling towards Silvery Moon?
Well, guys, we better pick it up a bit if we don't want to get wet and spend another day outside.
All right.
Or night outside, rather.
Yes, let's get moving.
So as you continue pushing forward, gets to be probably about an hour or so before before dinner, and you start to actually see the walls of Silvery Moon off in the distance.
Ooh.
And bear with me a second to grab my information. You guys are getting closer, and you guys are planning on pushing through to get into the city this evening, correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, it gets to be probably a little after dinner. And again, for those of you who had the good berries, you're still fine. Sarah is probably snacking on. Well, I'm gonna say Sarah would be snacking on some of the stuff she bought, only because I don't know whether or not Sarah would be taking good berries or not from Fury. I know Fury had offered last time to her, and I think she took one then. But
Yeah, I've been offering them to everybody.
yeah, so I just don't know whether or not. So we'll assume that she's got her own food, and I'll let her make that decision when they're back. But as you start to approach, as you're coming up, the road sort of forks a little bit, and you can see that there are two gates up ahead of you. Both on the southern wall that you're approaching, just one to the left and one to the right. Which way would you be heading?
I've never been here before. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
Art, which way do you want to go? Yep, I don't know, sorry.
Okay, I'll have Art decide with a die. Even we go left, odd we go right. That is even. So
Left.
they point left, and you start heading off that way. And as eventually you come up to the gate, and as you're looking at, as you start getting closer, even with this sort of dim light, the sun's starting to set, you immediately notice that just the as you're getting to the gate and sort of looking into the city beyond the gate, you can see that it's just the houses are beautiful. They're gardens, like coming from Waterdeep, where everything was just like rigid structured buildings. There wasn't really, if you wanted like plants and green, you went to City of the Dead. Everything else is just sort of hard and rigid for the majority of the city. Silvery Moon is very open. The houses are built to go with the landscape and the grass and the trees and plants. As you start to walk in, there are a couple of guards at the city, at the gate, and as they look in, yes, and what brings you to Silvery Moon this evening? It's rather late.
Well, as it is rather late, we're looking for a place to spend the night and then go about some business.
Well, we have a few locations of, and then looks at just, are you looking for something a little nicer or more cost effective?
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, then, well, if you're going in you're entering here through Blackala Gate. If you follow down this main thoroughfare, you'll see just a little ways away, and actually I'm going to shift you over to Silvery Moon.
I've never seen Silvery Moon.
And he gives you a couple of distractions, yes, instructions, and directs you over to the Smiling Satyr, which is number 26 on the map right over here.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's one of the nicer establishments. It won't put a hole in the purse, but isn't for the rank and file. And it is actually not that far, depending on... And he looks down at, actually at Sarah and then over at Fury a little bit. The two of you, looks down at Sarah a little more and sort of gestures at Sarah's armor and then looks over at you, Fury. It's actually not all that far from a establishment that may be able to help at least the two of you. The two wearing the metal, not so much, but it's called Essence Design. And he sort of gestures, and he's wearing a very beautifully detailed set of studded leather armor. I happened to purchase my own armor from there. It's rather nice, and yours seems a little, shall we say, worn.
I'll have you know this is an import from the islands.
Craftsmen must not be that talented out there, I suppose.
Do they do suits?
They work with leather. If you're willing to have something done in leather, I'm certainly that Elo could handle you.
Well, Fury, I suppose we'll see if it's up to snuff, won't we?
I suppose so. I mean, I did get a really good deal on this. We did, do some work in exchange.
As he looks at, go see Ilovu. Can't miss him. Essence Design. He will be able to assist you.
Thank you.
There's a little bow, and you continue on through. Are you heading straight to the inn, or?
How late did you say it is approximately? So
It's a little after
evening.
dinner.
Let's pick it up in the morning.
Sure.
Give Art some time to
Okay.
figure out the next
So
course.
Art's and as you guys are riding, you can see it definitely does seem to be weighing on Art a little bit. But eventually you guys make your way to the inn, are able to obtain rooms, and Art admits to the group that they've never been here, they've never visited their grandparents, and thus don't know where they live. And that they're gonna spend a little time this evening and try reaching out to their uncle again to get that information, because they left the room right so quickly when everything happened. Really wasn't an opportunity to discuss much at that point. But Art seems to be going to open conversation so that it's just not a door-to-door search of the entire city.
I'm going to stay up as late as possible so I can still get a long rest, but stay up as late as possible.
Oh,
I don't know how long that would be.
Depending on what time you want to get up in the morning.
What time does everyone else get up in the morning? Whenever everyone else gets up in the morning, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I'd probably get up very early. I'm not sure you want to get up that early.
Okay, now to you. Murdoch! What time do you get up in the morning?
I mean, normally when I have work to do, probably 8 in the morning. If I can get myself a little bit of reprieve, 9:30.
Right, I'll be ready at 9.
Yeah, you'd be able to stay up until after midnight. Anything in specific you'd be doing?
I'm going to use my last 3rd level spell slot to cast Sending and go full Batman.
Tell me who signed the contract! Tell me who wrote the contract! Do it! Tell me who wrote the contract!
Where is she?
A few minutes goes by and you get literally just 6 seconds of
Oh, nuts.
And this is very obvious somebody faking a snore.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's literally, it's like, he's just, nope, I'm asleep.
Okay. Alright.
And before I would have gone up to my room for the night, I would have checked on the status of the moon and see, at what stage it is
Oh.
tonight. I haven't
Go
checked
ahead and make a
in
perception check
in a while.
with disadvantage, as there is cloud cover this evening.
Ooh, okay. Oh my god. Okay, that is an 8.
As you're looking, the cloud cover is just too thick. You're not even seeing a lick of the moon right now.
Okay.
You know you've been traveling for a while. You and Furia talked about it the other. I think it was a couple of days ago that you guys were going to keep an eye on it, but doesn't look like anyone's remembered yet. And unfortunately, with the overcast weather, you're really not sure. But at the same point, at this time, it is evening and it's overcast. You know, the last couple of times it's happened to you, you had you had to be, I'll call it, had to see the moon, or you and the moon had to have like a connection. So if it's
okay,
it seems to be if you're going to be inside or if it's going to be heavy cloud cover, you think you might be okay if it is tonight.
and even though I can't see the moon tonight, like, have I transformed enough that I can kind of feel when it's close to happening, or not really? It's just
you've only
once it starts.
You've only experienced it once since being made aware of it.
Mhm.
So it happened
You're not
once after during the fight when you were thrown out of the bar, and then once when you went out into the forest and you were actually meditating and trying to figure it out. Oh no, you didn't turn that time because you took the boat. So yeah, you've only ever actually changed once.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So yeah, you keep taking. You took the potion the other times.
All right.
So with that, as the group sets up and takes their rest for the evening, eventually morning comes. As some of you wake up a little later than others, you find Sarah would be downstairs getting herself food. I'm assuming Art would be. I'm not sure if Art would be up early or not, so we're just going to leave Art sort of in limbo at the moment. And what would the rest of you be doing?
Making more good berries, putting them in my pocket for later if anybody needs them, and otherwise just sort of going outside and probably just leaning against the outside of the inn, just looking at the city, because it's nothing like I've ever seen before.
Yeah, as you're looking around outside, it's very sort of. It has a very almost, I guess I'll phrase it like almost an elvish feel to it. Whereas everything in here is, but I'll say like a wood elf almost. So where typically like wood elves are more like they live directly with the trees and like that. This is like if you took the wood elf and sort of citified it. So you're in a walled-in city, but the houses, like the trees, the house, everything sort of flows together, like what you were used to from your people back in the forest, just with a little more security, a little more civilization to it. But unlike Waterdeep and some of the other cities you've been through, where it was, brick and cobblestone, and every fourth house has one tree in the yard. This is much
Right.
more
More
nature. More nature and flowing feel to it.
Yeah, I think it would be rude to climb up onto a roof, so I just lean against the outside of the building and sort of take it all in, waiting for the others to wake up. I probably got up at dawn, so.
As you're out there, as the sun is starting to peek over, you do notice a lot of these buildings seem to almost sparkle. Think like jewels and gems with light hitting off them, just as the light's cascading and hitting different angles. It's a stunning visual. Eventually the rest of you awake. You can either go hunting fury if you're looking for good berries. The inn does have sort of a continental style breakfast. Or you can go grab some food should you choose to.
I'd grab some food from the breakfast area before heading outside and getting ready for the day ahead.
So as a group you gather outside, what would you be doing this morning?
Well, maybe
Hey,
we
Murdoch.
should just
Oh,
go to
sorry.
that shop. You know,
I was thinking we could check out the shop. What were you gonna ask me, Lydia?
What's your policy on verbal harassment? Mental harassment. Verbal mental harassment.
My policy, as someone who is verbally, mentally harassed quite often, I don't quite like it, but there's also nothing you can really do about it. That's a very strange question.
Yes, it is.
Are you sending to people?
Yes, I am.
Then, legally, I'm not going to ask a third question.
Right. Leather armor. Sounds fabulous. Let's go.
Leatherwork. Enjoy this. Just enjoy the sights.
This is
there's a park-
beautiful.
Until we can find some information about the people that we need to aggressively shake down and possibly beat.
Murdoch, did
legally.
you just say that? I'm surprised.
When I have a very soft spot for this particular situation. They broke the law first. They kidnapped someone. I will beat them with a cane if they do not get beaten down by words. But otherwise, if there's a really nice park, I might actually do some practicing of bardic things, not beating people with canes.
Good to know. Perhaps the shop first. Maybe we might find interesting things there.
All right. Yes. What? Essence?
Yes, I believe that's what we were told last night.
Essence design.
Essence design. God, it just feels like it's gonna be like a Sephora in there.
So
I hope so.
as you start heading, and again, they told you it was right near the inn. As you start actually heading down the street, it's only about 4 doors down. And you see that it's a sign on the outside of it, and it has sort of a, as you're looking at it, the way the letters are, it has almost, it looks like they tried to give the image of there being some sort of an aura around the letters. As you open the door, you see a older, somewhat, for a high elven man, a somewhat well-built individual standing behind the counter. Behind him, hung on the wall, a large double-bladed scimitar mounted to the wall behind him.
Cool.
That's the group you
That's quite nice.
yes,
Yes, it looks like it's a fine piece.
He turns and looks over his shoulder. Oh, yes. In my younger days, I dabbled at wandering and swordplay.
Ah,
Now my son is off doing it on his. Haven't heard from him in a while, and he turns and looks over. You can see he turns and looks over at a picture on the camera. I do hope he's okay.
Well.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Don't know how to transition. Okay.
Everyone? I'll do it.
Sure, anyone who's in there, yeah, anyone who's in there can.
I got a 17.
10.
18.
see if I can roll more than single digits. A 2. No, I can't. That's a 5.
No.
Oh dear.
Daddy,
Have
your
you been
dice
using the
suck
same? You've been using the same die?
I have,
night?
and
You need
it's
to- you need
been
to upgrade those
abusing me
things.
pretty badly tonight.
Luckily, it's not all that hard of a check. Somehow, Snow Moon doesn't notice this. But as this elven gentleman says that his son is off doing it, and turns and looks at the picture, and you can see that glow in his face, the slight smile, the warmth in the eyes as he looks at a picture of a dragonborn. Shining
What?
silver scales.
What?
It looks like it
What
looks
is
like-
happening?
I'm just looking up at the blade on the wall.
I'm gonna step on Snow Moon's foot.
Snow Moon. It seems everybody else's eyes are somewhere else. And you now see what they're looking at.
And I do like a double take at the. Yeah. That's your son, you said?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and he's
That's my silver.
Aww. I'm gonna
So-
cry.
is your. So you're married, or you're with a dragonborn?
Sort of laughs, looks at. Oh no, we adopted him.
Oh. And he's off on
Some crazy
practicing with
adventure that
the blade.
the young people do.
Probably out
it
there
is,
doing all the young people do, delving and dashing and running off the lists.
Well, honing one skills with the blade is a noble endeavor. It's
Yes,
special to me,
I
so-
fear I sort of warped his style as I was partial to the dual blade myself, so and it seems to me he's taken to it, but
Ah.
eventually
there's
he'd come
no-
back around and visit home again. But I'm assuming you came into the shop for something, not to discuss my family. How can I help?
Yes, yes. I think our party here. I was just looking for some of your wares that you had to offer.
Oh, we do have quite a bit. He looks over at you and just sort of leans a little heavier than what I typically work with, but I see a few of you that seem to be wearing leather. Are we looking to perchance upgrade, to change some of the more outlandish styles?
Well,
What?
I'm already wearing some. I mean, very nice. It was nice when I bought it anyway. We have gone through several adventures with, me in it. I was wondering if you had something a little more fancy than this plain studded armor I'm currently wearing.
I do have some tricks up my sleeve. But, say, what about anyone else before I go out back to go start pulling things?
I'm interested as well. This is a wonderful suit for traveling, less so for more dangerous endeavors. But I do have a very particular style, as you see, that I would like to keep intact. If that is within your purview, then I would gladly get a fitting.
Oh, you look so smart in doublet, Murdoch. Nice leather. Doublet.
It may take a little bit of work, as it's not often I work with separate pieces, but I'm certain we have something that will work for you. Bear with me a few moments, and he sort of goes off and wanders towards the back part of the back part and goes and looks to be like a stock room or something in the back and disappears for a few moments, leaving the group of you together. And then she
Does it really look that terrible? I mean, I don't think it does. It looks.
No.
I mean, as long as it functions, I think.
I mean, there
That's
was
what
very
really
nice
matters, so.
tooling in here at one point. Maybe it all got worn away or filled in with dirt. I haven't. Maybe I should clean my leather more often.
Cleaning leather is... Look, leather ages. It's just sort of what it does, and especially around the studs, you know, it gets that weathering and coloration. If it saved your life, then it's done its job.
I suppose.
I look back at like that picture, and I look back at Snow Moon. But as a dragonborn herself, she's not one to immediately be like, they have the same. They're both dragonborn. They, you know. So
Snowmoon.
it's like,
Well, Snowmoon, how common are silver dragons born?
I mean, where I'm from, it's pretty far to the north, and so lighter dragons was not uncommon up there. I don't think
Okay.
it's.
So a few minutes goes by, and he comes back into the room, and he's got a couple of different things that he's pulled out. And as he's sort of going through, the Fury sets out the studded armor that you had bought before had a very sort of I guess I'll call it sort of a organic but sort of water like swirls and patterns to it, based on the location you purchased being on an island where that's everything they did was based around the water. What he's brought in now looks again, it's very finely tooled, very similar to what you currently are wearing, but has what looks to be leaves and ivy tooled throughout it. He also has brought out a couple of small, look to be stones that he's just sort of set beside it for a moment. And then as he looks over at Murdoch and takes out and again has basically what looks to be the start of what would be like a studded leather armor, but it's missing like the arm pieces and everything else. He's got a couple of other extra pieces of leather and sets that down over sort of in front of Murdoch. This one is unlike what he set down in front of Fury, which has very sort of natural like ivy and plant looks like it is more specific to this area, something that he designs based on where he lives. What he's setting in front of you is very sort of geometric. It's very sort of rigid straight lines at different points to it. One would almost say it could be construed as pinstriped.
Aww.
Just like vertical lines running down, very finely tooled into it. As he sort of sets down and looks over at, I'm definitely going to need to get some measurements on you to see if I can make this work, but before we go down that road, a couple of things to discuss. First, I have a couple of
call them rudimentary sort of enchantments that I've managed to trade for that we can utilize to enhance this armor. Now, unfortunately, each piece will only hold one, so you would have to make a choice. But what I have obtained from trade is, and he pushes these couple of stones forward, and there's 4 of them sitting there. He says each one will give it a resistance to a different type of an attack. I have this one, and it holds it up, and it's got a little rune drawn on it. This one does thunder damage. Then I have this one here for cold. This one here is poison. And this one is fire. So I could use any one of these to enhance, well, realistically, any armor. I would prefer it to be something that I have made for you, but... And then he's going through. Likewise, this is a little more. I'll call it a stock, something we've already designed, but could be modified to fit. Well, yes, it might be a little tight on some of you, but. And he goes up back and he pulls out a. Looks to be it's a regular suit of armor, or a regular suit of leather armor, but he does tell you that it has been magically enhanced. Mechanically, it's a +1. But as he sets those down and starts going through, and basically letting Furia look at the studded leather armor, he just sort of walks around and he's, without getting two hands onto your mark, is just sort of like holding bits of leather up, just sort of getting a measure on your arm. I'm pretty sure I could do something with this. Would take the better part of the day. But if you're not, if you're going to be here for a day or two, I can definitely get something done for you.
Do you dye
So,
the leather?
I personally don't. I tend to do most of the work with it, but I do have someone who works for me that does dyeing.
I like the stripes. I would love it in maybe a blue.
It would be a very.
Cerulean?
We could dye it. It would be a little darker, as it is leather. It's not as simple as dyeing like a wool, but
Of course.
we can definitely make that happen for you.
And perhaps like a deep navy.
It would definitely be approaching the navy range.
All right.
If I may, I just need to take a few measurements on you.
Of course. Murdoch does all of the correct poses that you're supposed to do to properly get your suit measured. The way that she moves her shoulders and stuff.
As he sort of steps around the corner and starts, he goes to start to say something, and then realizes you've already started doing it. It's just it just literally just goes right into it. And what normally probably takes him about 10 or 15 minutes of explaining what to do, and he's got you all done and measured up. And, okay, I'll get everything prepared today. We'll have it dyed this evening. I'd say probably midday tomorrow. We should be hopefully good, assuming the dyeing goes smoothly on the first attempt.
Furia, do you like any of the stones, these enchantments?
Yes, but the problem is deciding on which one would be most beneficial. Kind of leaning towards fire, but poison is kind of tempting as well.
I was looking at poison, so if you wanted to do a little bit of poison, and then you do a little bit of fire, and then, we're about, if we really needed to, I'm sure that we could make do between the two of us.
And I can't just do regular. I need the studded I need the extra bit of for the studded, because that's already what I already have. So I mean, I could buy a new set of studded.
As you usually
But
say,
I
he
mean,
sort
what's
of
the point of
gestures at what's in front of you. And I do have someone who does dyeing.
They do dyeing.
So if I bought the new studded leather and a fusion, how much would it be?
He started, hems and haws a little bit. If you want to do the whole thing, well, would you be dyeing it as well?
I like natural colors. Brown is fine.
Okay, well, dealing with one, so he'll be happy. And starts muttering, goes back around, gets a little dropout, starts jotting things down, and goes, okay. So, looking at this, a second as the DM is rapidly trying to find his price on his leather armor.
I'm standing here, so take whatever price you're going to pick and then just sort of cut it in half. No, I wouldn't do that. This guy seems this guy seems pretty legit. I don't know if I want to haggle. He seems pretty cool.
Okay, let's see here. So as he looks and says, okay, the studded leather armor on its own is typically, usually we charge 50 gold here, given the extra work we do with the patterning and everything else. But I can probably let that go for, say, 40. And then with the enchantment would be, when we have the stones, it is rather simple. So say 150 for each set.
You know, that's not terrible. I do like the vines over my current sort of watery design. If I gave you the armor I'm currently wearing, could you take maybe 10, 20 gold off that price?
And he sort of walks over and, not roughly but not gently, sort of grabs on your shoulder a little bit, as like giving the leather a little bit of a work in. Needs a little work, but sure,
I mean,
I'll
it
say
did
20.
survive a dragon fight.
That
Lucky.
certainly explains its appearance then. Yes, I suppose I can knock 20 gold off for you for it.
All right, I think that's a deal.
Okay,
You don't mind if I keep this until you're done?
Oh, no, I would not ask you to walk out with nothing on. It's granted we are safe here with the local guards and everything, but still, never hurts to be cautious.
I think I would be ready to make a purchase as well. I just have one more quick question for you, and you let me know if it would be something that you would be able to do. You've secured some of these stones for wonderful enchantments. We're in the wonderful city of Silvery Moon. Amazingly talented people here, I've heard. And I know that it would probably be a one or the other type of scenario. How probable would it be that you would be able to get a glamour for this suit instead of a resistance?
What exactly are you looking for?
Something that just gives it a little bit more of a magical je ne sais quoi, a little bit of arcane panache, something that draws the eye.
Shoulder pads.
I want magical shoulder pads. Can you do? I grab him. Can you do it for me, man? Can you give me shoulder pads?
Shoulder pads are easy. Magic? Let me reach out and I will see what we can do. It's still rather early. Can you be back in an hour or two? Let me reach out to my my friends here and see what I can do for you.
I could. Do you want me to put down a down payment? I'm willing to do that.
Well, yes, let's say. Let's see. So it's. I'll put up as that's
75? 50%?
70 will be fine. We'll put that down. I'll start working on the base form for it, and we will talk shortly to see what I was able to arrange for you.
All right. I like it. I like it here. I like
When-
your shtick.
When can I come back to pick up my order?
Well, yours will be a little quick as I don't have to actually put everything back together, so.
Chad has immediately refunded 5 of that gold. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
For shoulder pads.
That's going right. It's going right into the shoulder pads.
So, he'll let you know, you can come back probably midday, right around lunch, and the enchantment will be set for yours. Murdoch's is going to take
Alright.
a little longer because of the dyeing and having to actually, like, custom assemble it. But as he starts getting excited and calls in somebody from the back, and they start getting everything taken care of for you. As you guys start heading back out into the city, that's where we'll call an end to tonight's session.
Cool.
As we
Cool.
made it to Silvery Moon. Art is in the process of reaching out, or has reached out, and just may already have the information required on where Gramps and Grandma live.
We go shopping, we get a little tea lunch, and then we go beat up some old gnomes.
As one does.
Just another Monday in Silvery Moon. So, don't forget, and yeah, so thank you very much, chat, for hanging out with us. Thank you for the shoulder pad funding. I know
Thank you.
Murdoch will appreciate that.
Continue
then-
to donate for my shoulder pads in the future.
Yes, as every donation that you give,
They get bigger.
they get larger as another set of shoulder pads gets added under, and you've given them a home.
I want to look like I'm from World of Warcraft.
Warcraft, yeah, with the pauldrons, yeah.
Eventually,
exactly
there's
what
no
I was
more
thinking.
Dragonborn, it's just shoulder pad. So we will be back next week. Hopefully we'll be back up in full force, as next week it's probably going to get real for poor Artemis, who is having a rough go as it is. As now we are in the land of Grammy and Grandpa. So don't forget, folks, when shopping for leather armor, you must remember what's important. Epic 1980s style shoulder pads.
Yes.
And when discussing them, don't forget to add your proficiency bonus, folks. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
And an additional half if you're not proficient, because you can use Jack of all trades.